Welcome to the United States of Small Business, a podcast where the essence of American entrepreneurship is celebrated in every episode. With host John Quick at the helm, join us as we embark on a journey through the heart of the nation, uncovering the inspiring stories of small business owners from coast to coast. Experience the vibrant energy of bustling cities and the serene beauty of small towns, all while discovering how individuals are turning their entrepreneurial dreams into reality, even against the greatest odds. Each episode brings you face to face with the dreamers, creators, and doers who form the economic backbone of our country, all sharing their spirit of innovation and resilience. Whether you are in the early stages of sowing the seeds for your own business, scaling new heights in your current venture, or simply captivated by tales of grit and triumph, you are in the right place. Tune in on platforms like Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and beyond. For deeper insights and to connect with the heart and soul of America's main streets, visit UnitedStatesOfSmallBusiness.com. Subscribe to United States of Small Business with host John Quick now and be inspired by the powerful stories of entrepreneurship, community, and the unwavering pursuit of the American dream. Begin your journey of inspiration with us today.
Welcome to the United States of Small Business podcast, where we dive into the stories of entrepreneurs who are making their mark. I'm your host, John Quick. Today, we're excited to have David Johnson, the founder and CEO of America's Home Offer, joining us. David's company is reshaping the real estate landscape, offering fast, fair, and transparent solutions to homeowners looking to sell their properties quick. In this episode, David will share his journey of building America's Home Offer, the lessons he's learned along the way, and his vision for the future of real estate investment. Let's get started and learn how David is turning real estate transactions into opportunities for both the homeowners and investors alike. So without further ado, David, welcome to the United States of Small Business podcast.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, John.
Well, this will be excited to hear a little bit about your story and your business and how you help other folks. And I'm excited to hear about the story. But first, take me back to the day of you starting America's Home Offer. What inspired you to start this in the first place?
That's a really good question. Well, I think I have to backtrack even farther than that and go back to when I was 18. I got into this business with friends of mine, moved out to Arizona. I'm from a small town in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin. So moved out to a big city, Scottsdale, Arizona, and we were just working on this business, wholesale real estate, and things didn't work out with them. And I didn't really like taking orders from anybody else because there was a certain way that I wanted to do things, and there were certain things that weren't getting done. So I made a decision one day, hey, I can do this on my own.
That's awesome. So what were some of those early challenges or hurdles that you faced? It's got to be a little daunting sometimes doing something on your own by yourself. What were some of those early challenges?
Yeah. I mean, just about every one that you can think of, right? I mean, there's always hurdles that you're going to have to jump through, but I mean, rejection left and right, no's, people hanging up on you. It's a game of relentless pursuit of trying to close a deal, because at the end of the day, it's sales. It's sales and marketing. That's the business that I'm in, with a back end fulfillment, and all the no's that you get. And then, you close a deal. Then the question is, what's next? What do you do after this? Right. Then you have to try to do it again and then again. And then not having a team in place to be able to offset some of the tasks and the responsibilities that you have makes everything quite harder, because you're taking your time and your attention from right here of talking to the prospects to now trying to do the back end fulfillment of it. So and with doing that, you're lagging and talking to the prospects. So there's this whole lag of this business when you try to do it by yourself, and it's quite hard.
So take me through, what does that process look like, from somebody that comes on your website for maybe a word of mouth referral or an ad or something like that? What does that process look like for somebody just interested in selling their home to then working a deal with you and being, all smiles on the other end of it?
Yeah, I think, again, we have to back up before that, because that's not always how it was. Because running ads through your website can be quite expensive. In fact, very expensive. So before it was just cold calling. I would have a list of people, list of names, addresses, and phone numbers. And I just took my cell phone and I called through each one of them. Thousands of them. So it looked a lot different back then than it does today. So today, if someone just goes on our website, they submit a form, their name, their address, and their phone number. Well, within about 2 minutes, they're going to get a phone call from our team. And we have a specific process that we go through. It's our sales scripts. It's about 45 minutes long. We're super big on creating a great experience for our clients because we know a lot of people in the industry don't do that. A lot of people just care about the house. We care more than that. And they go through that process, and if the numbers work out, we'll get that property under contract. And then if the numbers work, we'll end up going to the closing table.
Nice. Can you share with me maybe a success story that for folks listening in that maybe is one of those inspirational stories? I'm sure there's many success stories in your business probably every week, but what's the specific one that you could share?
In terms of a client?
Yeah, just a client and
Yeah.
a success story that you saw on your end.
I'll give you one recently because there's been a lot. Because we deal with folks that have beat up houses, and that demographic, they're maybe not the highest quality of individual, but they're still humans at the end of the day. And a lot of these people are going through problems, whether that be money, probate, liens, whatever that may be. The one that we had recently was an older gentleman out in Florida. He's in his 80s, I want to say, give or take. It's him, his wife, and his grandson. And he loves his grandson to death. And one thing that he wanted to do was be able to move once his grandson finished school and move to a place smaller, something that they could afford. And what we did when we gave him an offer on his property, he fell down to his knees. And he was the most grateful individual that I have ever heard when it comes to, us giving an offer to somebody or us in the process of buying their home. And at the end of that, what we were able to do was, also give him a gift card to the Capitol Grill where he can take his wife and his grandson to go get a nice steak dinner. And
Nice.
that out of the whole thing was the most fulfilling part to me.
I bet he was a happy camper.
Yeah, it certainly was.
That's cool. So what inspires you to stay motivated? I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of hustle and grind, especially in starting this business. A lot of people are willing to run Facebook ads, but cold calls is a whole nother ball game. Even though you may not have to do that, still, man, it's a lot of hustle. So what motivates you to, be awake before everybody else and be the person on the line making the last phone call to the end of the day?
For sure. The whole motivation thing to me is kind of a bunch of BS. I don't believe in it. I believe in discipline because disciplines is what's going to get you to move the needle forward and better your life. So I'm really big on discipline, not so much on motivation. But to answer your question, I would say my team. I mean, I have a responsibility. If I don't perform, then they don't perform. So I have to show up. I have to do it. I don't have a choice. And if I want to be the best in what I'm doing, well, to be the best, you're going to have to do certain things that other people aren't willing to do. And that's just kind of how I live my life.
Nice. What kind of advice would you give for folks? I think oftentimes people are scared to make that first step, to test the waters, to become an entrepreneur. A lot of people maybe are that listen to this are maybe working their 9-to-5 job, be miserable in their job, want to do something different, but are always hesitant to make that first leap of faith. What kind of advice would you give to somebody who's in that kind of position?
What's your dream? I think you have to analyze that first because entrepreneurship is a lot harder than you think it is. It's not as glamorous as it's made out to be on social media. It's hard. You get kicked in the teeth every single day. And there's a certain type of individual that is actually meant for that. So yeah, I think you have to ask yourself the question, is it something that you truly want to do? Or is it something that just kind of looks good? And if it's something that you truly do want to do, well, you only have one life. What's going to stop you from achieving your dreams? And in that case, it would be you. So you have to you have to make the decision to take the risk, to move forward, to do whatever that scary thing is. Because at the end of the day, yeah, you're going to fail. 100%. Everybody fails. As entrepreneurs, we fail every day. It's just those small wins that we get every now and then that, that put us on the stage. So I think you have to determine what is it that you want to do. And if you truly do want to do it, the only thing stopping you at that point in time is you.
Nice. So if you could take a time machine and go back to day one when you first started this job, what kind of advice would you give yourself?
That's a really good question. What kind of advice would I give myself? Cut out the noise, cut out the distraction, and really put your head down and work 10 times harder than you did, because I would be a lot farther. Because for a period of time, I got caught up in the play section of things, where I had a little bit of success here, and then I would go out and I would do this, not keep my foot all the way down on the gas. I think intentional focus is really good for people that are just starting out, excuse me. And that's probably something that I would tell myself.
Nice. Does technology play a role at all in what you do? Is there a lot of it, face to face, people to people, having to interact with folks to get them, comfortable with who you are as a person and build that trust? Or does technology play a role in what you do?
That's a good question. We don't utilize too much technology. We do everything over the phone. Everything's virtual for us. So that's why I told you earlier, creating a good experience, a great experience, something that these guys have never experienced before, is super big to us because it's all over the phone. Now, there's some people that do in-person appointments. We know that we have to be 10 times better than them over the phone than they are in person to be actually able to get that deal. So there's three things that we need in order to have a successful property under contract. They have to like us, they have to trust us, and they want to do business with us. So our whole sales process is catered to those three things. Because if we do everything right, then at the end of the phone call, when it comes to talking about numbers, it should be the easiest part.
Yeah. Is networking helpful to yourself and your business, getting out there, meeting other folks that are, doing what you're doing and trying to forge ahead and create wealth for yourself? Is networking played a role in your success, or
No.
is it kind of one of those things that's kind of fluffy and doesn't really matter?
Not for me. It doesn't matter as much because, all these events that people put on, I could be putting on the event. And not to rub my ego or anything, but a lot of people that go to like real estate meetup events, specifically catered to what I do, a lot of people are just getting started, or they're in the game, but they're not doing too well. I believe there's a time and place for networking. I've done that already. So currently now it's just laser focused on where me and my team are going, what direction that we're heading in.
Nice. So what's some long-term goals for you all? Do you want to be the biggest in your industry? Do you want to be kind of the biggest in a certain niche? What are some of your long-term goals for your business?
Yeah, that's a good question. For our wholesaling company, what we want to do, we're growing. We're trying to scale now and find more talent. It's quite hard, is what I'm learning to do, is to find the right fit, because we're looking for a specific type of individual that wants to come in, that doesn't just want to excel here, but wants to excel in other areas in their life as well. That's what we look at. We look at that as a whole. But yes, it is to become the biggest wholesale company in the world. And along with that, vertically integrate other things. So fix and flips, buy and holds, certain softwares and things like that. But the main goal of what we're striving for is to become number one.
Nice. It's a good goal.
Yeah.
Who's been a hero in your life? There's probably a lot of folks that probably look up to you as being a successful entrepreneur. Who's somebody that you looked up to along the way, and why?
It's a good question. My father. My father taught me work ethic. He's a truck driver. So he would be gone Monday to Friday. I'd see him maybe Friday night, but most likely it'd be Saturday and Sunday. And he never complained one time ever about going to work and putting food on the table. Not once. not once. So one of the main reasons why I do what I do, it's for him, to give
That's
him
awesome.
the life of his dreams. Yeah. But besides my father, I would say Andy Frisella. I'm a big Andy Frisella fan. He's taught me a lot. I'm in his mentorship group. I love what he's doing and learn a lot from him.
That's cool. In today's day and age, you get folks that they want to be the CEO of a company day 2 on the job, and they get into 5 days of working their own, Instagram, Shopify store, and if they're not a millionaire in 5 days, they give up. Is there something to be said for just, outworking the competition? What do you think that kind of attitude in today's culture? Do you think it's detrimental to, people experiencing real success?
Yeah, I do. I think we live in a society today where people want instant gratification. Obviously, social media hasn't helped, but results as well. Nobody has patience anymore. No one can stick it out 5, 10 years to be able to actually take the time, build something. Because the people that do that, they're not learning the fundamental skills that are necessary in order to actually build something successful. And I mean, I'm not even to that point yet. There's still so many things that I don't know, but I'm trying to actively learn every day. And I understand that it's a long-term game. And I think these people that quit, they don't realize you can't lose if you don't give up. It could take 10 years, it could take 20, it could take 30. But eventually, if you're smart and you actually learn from your mistakes and you learn from people above you, you can't lose. Just a matter of time.
Oftentimes people are very scared of failure. I am a big proponent of learning from lessons, and if you really haven't failed, you haven't tried. What are your thoughts on that? What's your approach to failure, and does it motivate you to get up and try even harder the next day?
Yeah, I think there's different types of failures, right? There's failures that we're going to face every single day in our life, and then there's those big failures, right? That deal that went sideways, that you messed up on something that that you shouldn't have done. But we're going to lose every single day of our life. Like I mentioned earlier, as entrepreneurs, you're always going to get your teeth kicked in, but there's times where you get those wins, and those wins are usually big wins, right? That get you to where you need to go. But failure as a whole, I think it's essential for what we're doing, because there's 2 ways to learn. There's obviously failure, and then there's learning from someone above you. But even though if you're learning from someone above you, you're still going to go through failures anyways.
Yeah. So there's folks going to be listening to this, and they're going to be thinking, man, maybe I should talk to this guy about selling my house. What's the easiest way for somebody to get in touch with you? Tell us your website, details of those kinds of things, so that somebody can, take this listening from this podcast and go doing an action step and getting a hold of you.
Yeah. You can, go to our website, americashomeoffer.com. So it's America with an S, homeoffer.com. What we look for, we're not looking for retail homes. I'll just give this as a disclaimer. We're looking for homes that need work, that, would be perfect for a fix and flipper that we could go into and give some love to, right? Bring it up to the market value. So if you have a nice, beautiful home where, you have a new kitchen and, new things like that, I would suggest that you go to a local real estate agent.
But if you got one that's a little beat up and you're looking to get rid of it, you and your company is the perfect folks to call, right?
Absolutely. And if you know somebody, if you have a friend of a friend, and you bring it to us and we close on it, we'll pay you out too.
Nice. Well, do you have any last minute thoughts? 20 minutes here has gone by in a flash. The floor is yours.
Yeah. But currently started a podcast. It's called Becoming Number One, where our goal and mission is to help our audience become the best versions of themselves. I'm really big on personal development. I believe where we're at in the country right now, that's something that we really need. We're lacking in terms of a cultural change. And what we need to do, each individual, is we can't rely on the government. We can't rely on, Bill or Sally down the street. It starts with ourselves, and we have to become better versions of ourselves. So I think if you guys, are interested in, becoming better versions of yourself, and you want to become the best version of yourself, go check out our podcast. We drop an episode every single week. where, it's a different topic, but it's all catered to you getting better.
Nice. We'll put the podcast and your website in the description for folks listening in. For folks, if you just caught the tail end here, I want to encourage you to go back and listen to this. David has got a great story. America's Home Offer, wholesale business that buys homes. So folks, if you got a little bit of a fixer up and you're looking to potentially get rid of it, I want to encourage you to go check out americashomeoffer.com. Again, I'll leave the link in the podcast description. We wish you nothing but success, David, here from the United States of Small Business podcast. We hope you have a phenomenal rest of the week. And until next time, I'm John Quick from the United States of Small Business. Thanks so much for joining us.